Hello and welcome to this Managed Methods video. Today we're going to be talking about user activity. User activity is going to be a log of the various actions and activities taken within the Managed Methods platform. It won't log every single action or activity, but many of the actions and activities within either the Google Workspace environment, the Microsoft 360 environment, are going to be directly tracked within this user activity section. This information will not be cleared out and can be used at any point to reference back to what happened in the platform or what actions a user directly took within the platform. So this can be helpful to ensure that your end users are correctly using the platform, those who do have access to it. This can also be helpful if you do need to go back if there was some kind of incident that occurred and you need to review when that incident occurred and look at that information directly. These user activities can also be helpful to look at that information as well too. So there are going to be two different ways to access the user activity section. The first way is just going to be in the top right hand corner. If we go ahead and click here and click on the view user activity, this is going to take us over to the user activity section found underneath access management here. And this will just take a quick moment to load here. And now we're looking at some different actions and activities that have occurred within the platform here directly, in this case taken by myself. Now if I do come back over here, there is a second way to go ahead and access it from the audit and control section, and that's by clicking on the wrench and screwdriver icon here on the far left hand side of the platform, and then either clicking on admin or clicking the drop down arrow here. In both cases you're going to want to head to access management. This will take you first off to the user section, and then if we come down over here to the user activity subtab, this is going to take us back to that user activity log. And once that loads in here, we'll be able to take a look at some of the information that's found in here. So to start out with here, you're going to see the table. First off, the table is going to give you the user name, so which user actually took this action or activity within the Managed Methods platform, the IP address that the user used, location where they accessed the platform from, what action they specifically took here, so there's a number of different actions that will be all logged here, the entity type, which is going to be specifically what entity was the action taken against, or what action did they do there. So it could be anything from it was something within mail to they actually downloaded some sort of report or something of that name. The entity name is going to be the actual entity itself that was downloaded or directly looked at here if it was the case of one of those. Login activity is also reported in here, so when people do access the platform, that's something you're going to be seeing as well too. Then you'll also be able to see the name of the environment that was accessed. So in this case here, you can see it was the Google Workspace environment. We can see the status here. In this case, these were all successes, but there are some different statuses, and we'll get to that in just a moment here. And then we can see a date and timestamp of when these specific events occurred here as well too. Now, first off here, there is a filter button. Before I get to that filter button, though, there are some ways you can quickly just sort through here on this main table, and that's just by clicking either on the username, IP address. Any of these different columns here are sortable, so you can sort by those columns. It's going to default over here to sorting by the time frame, so that date and timestamp column. You will also notice here too that there are multiple pages of activity, so it's going to show you the first 25 rows, but you can certainly expand beyond that as well too, depending on how far back you need to go. When it comes to the filter button here, this is going to allow you to filter some of the different information you're going to see there. So the very first filter there is going to be status. So you see here error, failed, partial success, and success. Those are just going to give you some indications of what happened with that action. So for example, if you tried to take an action and it failed to take that action, you would see that, or if there was some kind of error, you would see that, or a partial success. Generally speaking, you're mostly going to see successes here. The platform's going to take that action that user did. So if they were to go ahead and download something, preview an email, delete a file, things of that nature, you're likely to see a lot of successes in here. The action here will be some of the different action types that are going to be directly logged. So you'll see things here like bulk ignore risk. So if you go through and ignore multiple risks at the same time, that's going to be an action that you'll be able to reference back to and take a look. Same with things like bulk deleting, or if you decide to go ahead and bulk ignore malware, for example, or delete something. So there's a lot of different action types in here, and this can be very helpful if you need to focus in on certain activity types. So you say, hey, I remember that I went ahead and bulk ignored a bunch of risks recently. I need to go back through a couple of those and just double check and make sure everything was fine with those, or I need to review those here and see what we went ahead and ignored previously there. The entity type will be some of the different entities that the specific action could have been taken with. So lots of different information in here, whether that was an account, whether that occurred within the Gmail side of things, a file, Google Chats, mail. So there's a lot of different of these entity types. I'm not going to go through every single one here today, but this can all be helpful in filtering and focusing in your attention on a specific action or activity that occurred within the platform here by one of your end users or yourself in many cases. The SAS name here is just going to be what environment the particular action or activity occurred in here. So you just pick your environment. Now in this case we have a lot of different environments here in this test environment, so something to keep in mind there. Your environment probably a lot easier to go through and pick that correct environment there and dive into it there. The time here actually allows you to select a specific date and timestamp. So that's a great way if you want to start off with a specific time frame and then focus your attention there. If you say, hey, remember we were dealing with this incident at this particular time frame, I need to come back and look at what actions and activities we took at that point. Then username here is another option as well too. Now most of this will be blanked out here, but you'll see this is where you can click in and select a specific username, dive into that information there directly, take a look at what's going on. Now, additionally, with the filter button, there is also a search button here as well too. So this search text here allows you to quickly go ahead and search by specific text here. It's going to be looking specifically at the text within the table itself here. So very easy to go ahead and quickly look for different things in here. So for example, if I wanted to focus my attention on something like this sick day policy, I could go ahead and quickly look up all the instances of that sick day policy popping up in here. And then from there, you can also have reports be run on this information. So the report button here in the top right-hand corner allows you to run various reports off of this information. So you can see here we've got a view schedule reports. In this case, there are not any currently scheduled reports that are set up to be sent, but that is something that can be set up. Below here, though, there is initially a download CSV report here that allows you to download the information that you're seeing in here directly as a CSV report, and then you can go ahead and review it as necessary. The email report is also helpful because this is where you can schedule various reports to be sent out, and this can also be scheduled either to be sent out daily, weekly, or monthly as well too. So if you need a constant update on that user log, that user activity there, very easy to go ahead and have that set up as well too, so you can quickly review that information, check in on what's going on. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure you do change the recipients here to whatever's applicable. You may also want to change the subject line if that's applicable. And then any filters or searches that you've applied in here are going to be pulled directly in through this filter section as well too. And you can choose to generate that report right away and then have it be scheduled, or certainly just have it be scheduled to be sent out. And you can also specify the time frame of when this specific report will be sent to you. So that's going to be the user activity section there. Definitely provides a lot of valuable information on making sure your end users are taking correct action in the platform, and gives you that audit trail back to review information and activities and actions that have occurred within the ManagedMethods platform. I hope this video was helpful in giving you some more insight into the user activity section within the ManagedMethods platform. Thanks so much for your time.